I got down. Let's go to Terminal 5.
I got to go to Terminal 5, Dock 4, pay them $1.
Well, that's some of it, but the thing said, go to Terminal 5, get on bus 4.
Bus 4, not Dock 4.
Get on bus 4, get off at the third stop. Stop the second person you see and give them $1.
Oh my goodness.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But we didn't quite pull that off to the commander, so I don't think he'd be too happy with us. Do you think so?
Well, we need to start our directions at a different point.
But understand this, guys. It's funny and it's a good exercise. I've been doing that one for years. But the thing is, when we talk to people sometimes, and not just teenagers, you just saw, we're adults. It doesn't. Maybe I didn't communicate it well with her. She wasn't able to say back to me though. What? She wasn't able to say that back to me. So then she took what she had and she passed it on. And then you passed it on, and then she passed it on what she got, and she passed on just one little thing she got from it. And that was what she had. But that's the way it is when we talk to our teens. If we're not on their level, then, you know, we don't quite have our minds open for, you know, whatever they may be saying to us. And it couldn't be that they're not understanding us. We may not be understanding them. So this is all about kind of rethinking the way we think. And that's why I said be aware of yourself, be aware of things that, you know, kind of make you, you know, a little angry or something. So the next thing is, we talked about it already, it's the transitional stage between the teen and adulthood. And it's a big transition. We don't think about it. I think we forget as we get older what we did when we were teens, how we perceived life as a teenager. It's different now. I don't care if you're 25 and you were a teenager, it's still different somehow for you now than then. You think just totally different when you're a teenager. I can't wait to get grown. I can't wait to get out of here. I can't wait to get on my own. What does all that really entail though? Okay, that's the problem. So we want to learn how to respond to our teens. We want to learn how to, like if you know the triggers, I want each one of you to tell me something that makes you really upset when your teen says it to you, whatever it might be. What is that trigger for you? Because it's important that we know triggers. And what I mean by triggers is, if this person always says, and you don't like that, that's one of your triggers.
Oh, we get my daughter.
That is one of your triggers.
We get my daughter for saying the word hate.
Hate.
That's
your
a
trigger.
no.
Okay. So, since you know that's your trigger, we have to we can't change their behavior like overnight. We can't change their behavior overnight, but we can change our response to the behavior. So, if that's been a trigger for you and really get you guys into arguments, kind of rethink through it and say, well, that's something that she says. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not telling you what to say. I'm just giving you an example. That's something that she says, and it's not really harming anybody. So, I'll take another approach with that. She might want to come back and give her some examples of hate, some real hate.
Oh, that we went through it and worked it out. She's got enough for, you catch her saying, and you can say, excuse me, it's just, I dislike.
Okay. All right. So, someone else share something with me that your child does or says that really, really upsets you.
My son, he's so responsible, but at the same time, I get the reaction of, are you serious? You know, it's really, I mean, I was going to look at him like, no, I wouldn't have said it, you know. You just want to be a smart aleck right back to him. I don't know, it's kind of.
Right, and that's your trigger, and that's the thing that you need to start thinking through before you respond. Just say, yeah, I'm serious. Instead of saying, yeah, I'm, you know what you just said, then try it another way, a different tone to that. Yes, I'm serious. And maybe he'll stop saying it, I don't know. Yeah. But these are some of the things we want to try to think about when we're by ourselves, when you're alone, and you think about, you know, what we've talked about tonight. I want you to kind of go over in your head, it's like, oh, that's one of my triggers. You know, and then, you know, next session we can talk about if you can't remember any triggers right now. You have any triggers that you think of? That's something that your child does that just drives you, you know?
My 13-year-old, sometimes I think she was trying to ignore me. Like she had like, oh, I couldn't hear you say that. I could say something and she'll keep going. Oh, I didn't hear you say that. like, yes, you did. You know, you heard me. You were just trying to ignore me.
And like she said, that's selective hearing. They listening. They hear what they want to hear, and the things they don't want to hear, they don't really hear. They don't want to
I guarantee if you don't want them to hear it, that's the first thing they hear.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Everybody
Right.
can tell you.
So let's try to change how we respond to our teenagers, though. Let's just try to, since you remember we talked about being aware of, maybe you really weren't aware of those triggers, not really, you know. But since you're aware of them now, you can start working right there. You can start trying to change your response because teenagers want attention, and they'll get negative attention. If that's the only way they can get attention, they'll get it. If it's negative, if it's positive, they do it for power. Some people do it for attention. Some people do it to like a payback type thing. I'll get her for that, you know. But it's a lot of different things, and I don't know your children, so we can't sit here and go, oh yeah, yours is for this reason. It's for you to think about, and for you to absorb, and for you to think about why you think that happens. And if you change your response, they'll start changing their actions because they're not getting the same thing from you that they've been getting from you. Does that make sense? Okay. Well, I had wanted to say one other thing. I want each of you to kind of open up just a little bit and tell me. Let's just share, because I can share as well. I have children, we're adults now, but I can share some things that we might have said to our teens that was not so positive. That you wish maybe you could take back, just something that you just might have said that wasn't so positive to your teen lately or over time. Go ahead, just talk about it.
The cell phone thing with the text. She liked to text a lot. And
Text.
so I read on the text something that the little boy wrote that I didn't like.
Okay.
That I felt like was inappropriate, something about grabbing me or something. So I politely told her, I said, are you a little girl? I said, because you're not an adult yet. And I said, I think that was appropriate what he sent to my phone. And I said, you don't want people calling you that.
So did you say that, or did you say something else? I really want to know what you really said. I think that was the cleanup version, which was a good job. But that's why we're here.
I have to tell the truth. Because she hears stuff at school. She really do. I know she do. Yeah.
Did you say it like that, like you just said it?
Yeah. And I said, because you know how the little boys will say dirty things, but I didn't, I wasn't dramatic with them, yelling at them. But I was like, I said the B word.
Okay. So you used the B word. Okay. But I think that was still kind of appropriate, But I'm saying some things that you said that wasn't so. That was a clean version. Things that you said that wasn't so nice to say to your teens, because we all do it. When we get upset, we say things. We might not mean them, but we say them. We might not mean them to the full extent, but we say them.
That could have been an inappropriate moment. Like if you had just picked up, read that, and then been like, you slut, or
or you're acting like a slut, or something like that.
And a lot of parents end up spilling that out when they get
I don't think I've
upset.
actually ever said or called much all that, but I told her that some of her actions is making her look like she is being just trashy and.
Well, I've said something to my granddaughter about she had this little top on, and I said, Stephanie, that's too slutty for your age, honey. Cover yourself up, be appropriate when you go out.
Okay.
It kind of hurt her feelings, and I said, I had to go back and explain to her why I meant slutty. I wasn't calling her a slut. She got to, she was acting like, I said, no, Stephanie, just shut up, little slut. When you wear something like that, you're not appropriate going out for your age, And hurt her feelings, but she got over it,
I have a story that happened with me with my child when she was younger. It's this big football jamboree that they have where the bands come out and they go out and all kids from all high schools and junior high schools are there and the college bands are competing. And she wanted to go out of the house with this little outfit on that was, to me, very inappropriate, even for her age. And so I said, that authoritarian parent says, okay, well, you need to go and change. That doesn't look nice. You need to go and change.
Of course, as a child, gonna pout. And, you know, they their age, they're going through where they think they cute and sexy and all that type of stuff. So she went to change. But what happened, what was amazingly to me, what happened when we got there, she said she saw some of the other young girls and how they were dressed, and she was like, oh my God, look how they look. And she came back and actually thanked me for making her change clothes, because she realized that what I was saying was not being mean and all of that, but she realized what I was saying when she saw the other girls and how they looked, that man, this is how I really was coming to look as well. And they look a hot mess, is what, you know, in her mind, what she thought of them. So it made her realize that people probably would have thought that of me as well, because the way she was thinking. So sometimes it kind of, even though as a parent we make those decisions, when it happens, sometimes your kid will realize, whether they tell you or not, they realize what you're saying is also correct.
Thank you. What about you, DJ?
Something that I actually learned in the hard way is comparing my one son to the other, like saying, I wish you were more like your brother.
Okay.
You know, it's hurtful both directions. I hurt them, and then I hurt myself by saying it.
So you said
I regret
that.
saying that, yeah.
Okay. And this is a picture of a teenager. So what I'm going to do is that is insightful for you to know that now. Like you said, you learned that. I used to tell my kids, you get on my nerves. And I'm just going to tell you. And sometimes I said effing nerves. I mean, that's when I'm boiling hot. So, you know, I have to take a piece of this off as well, because every time we talk about something, when we say stuff to kids, it kind of tears at them a little bit. Can you think of something negative that a parent would say to teens? Or
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't say getting on my nerves.
With our little girl, her daddy all the time, because my daughter's a big girl. She's 16. She's a big girl. She's
Okay.
tall and she's big. And her daddy all the time asked her, well, has the zoo called lately? It just crushes her.
yeah, that is bad. Okay, let's hear some more, because I know y'all ain't that cleaned up. We ain't all that cleaned up in here.
Oh yeah, I don't say that. Getting on my nerves,
You said anything else that you think you wouldn't be so proud of?
Yeah.
Give me an example.
The B word.
Okay, you have said
I said
that.
stop it. You know, you don't want to be called these. You don't want to be called a hoe. So don't be dressing like this. You still a little girl.
Okay.
You're not a hoe. You're not a bitch.
Yeah.
But I have said
I
that to her, and she'll get mad, go in the room and cry. But I'm trying to explain to her, you know, it ain't so much you that's what you are, but you know, you don't want to give the wrong impression. Then I try to turn on the news and let her see things that have happened from testing and being on the internet. You know, children don't get sent out and go to the corner and they'll be seen again. I'm just trying to teach her all that stuff, but you know, it's her being at that age. I don't know. I think it's going out one ear out the other to me.
Okay. Jackie, can you think of something that you might have said when your child was a teen that you regret, or?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's probably a lot, because I am so blunt and direct. But I know on some occasions I found myself as a parent, I would say things like, you're smarter than that. You should know this, you know, and things like that, which messed with my daughter thinking that she wasn't smart enough or whatever. And then she could tell you. So a lot of times you say things and not really thinking that this is a child you're talking to. And you know, quite often time, and not just with my, because as I grew, I knew working with children that that's not what I needed to do. But oftentimes I've had people that I've worked with, and I still, because I worked with delinquent teens before, so I would go by their houses to check on them once they became adults. And one of my students would tell her child all the time, you're just dumb, you're just stupid, and you just this, and you just that. And I would say, you should not tell your child that. If you say they're dumb, they're stupid, they're going to feel that they're dumb and they're stupid. So when other people say it, they're going to feel that they're not worthy of anything. So quite oftentimes we say those things, and our children believe it. And my response, and whether it was appropriate or not, is, you know, if you are not a rocket science and her dad was not a rocket science, how in the world can you expect her to be a rocket scientist? So, you know, a lot of times you have to put people to bring back, because that was just their mode of her mode. That's all she knew, you know. And so that was an experience for me.
Now, I want y'all to take a few minutes, and I want the group to put this back together. And here's a piece of tape. Just put it back together as best you can, okay?